Hi everyone, it's Nicole from the blog Speech Peeps, and I'm here talking about my leveled intervention binder for reading comprehension. This one is my newest in the leveled intervention series. Currently I have one on vocabulary and another one for grammar, and you can find those in my shop at shopnicoleallison.com. I'm sure you hear me say this about all my resources, but I am really proud of this one. I know I'll be getting it out time and time again with my students, because one thing that makes my leveled intervention binders a bit different is that they are all about teaching the skills, not just providing practice for data collection. So let's dig in. When you open it up, you'll notice all the topic areas that are addressed right here. So we have asking and answering questions, compare and contrast, main idea and summarizing, sequencing and retelling, word meanings used in text, and fact and opinion. Next to that, you'll see the standard that those topic areas address, along with the page numbers. A bonus item that this binder includes that the vocabulary and grammar ones do not are these visual cards. So I created these. They're basically for every teach page, they are condensed onto these little cards. So this is really nice to have laying out while your students are working on the task, just as a visual for them. You can print them and give them to your students, or you can just keep them close to you. I keep them in this little pocket of my binder right here, but you can just see all of the visuals that are included here. Another thing you'll notice right off the bat is that I print most of the pages double-sided and then place them in sheet protectors. This allows my students to use dry erase markers on them and turns this binder into a one-time print only. If you're really concerned about printing and ink, you can download a PDF editor app and use it on your iPad. It does take away some of the interactive pages, but that's an option if you don't want to print it. Speaking of printing, I really try to be cognizant of the ink used in my resources because I'm an independent contractor and I have to print everything at home myself, so I understand the pain. So most of the pages are black and white, but I did utilize color as a visual. So any of the colors that you see are there for a purpose to help your students. So when you look at each page, you'll notice some text or a number in the upper right-hand corner. This tells you what kind of page it is. So this is a teach page solely focused on teaching the skills. Here is a level 1 skill page, which is more broken down and simpler. Goes to level 2, all the way to level 3, which is the most complex. Okay, so with that in mind, let's take a look at a few sections. Here's the asking and answering questions section. At the beginning of every section, you'll see these flaps, and these cover the definition of the target task. So question and answer. And I don't have any research to prove this, but with my own caseload, I've noticed how important that oral language component is. So just having the students say or repeat back what the definition is really helps it to stick in their brains more, is what I've noticed. And I don't have the research to prove that, but that's just something that I've noticed. So what we do here is I tell them the definition of what a question is, what an answer is. They have to repeat that back until eventually they can leave these flaps down and say the meaning, teach a friend, and give an example. That's one of the first things that they have to do before we move on to any task. All right, so after they're able to repeat what the definition is, we go on to some practice, and then here's a level 1. So this is just simply indicating whether the statement is a question or an answer. Then we go on to specific questions and what they indicate. So you know this part: who, person, what, thing, where, place. And all you do is cut this out on the dotted lines and place it over the definitions and tape it on. And then I have some examples here. So here the task is a 1, and they circle all the possible answers given for a question starting with what. So what kind of answers would they be looking at? Here's when, how, all the different types. Then they have to match the types of questions. This is locating and repeating key information in a question. So not only am I teaching them how to answer a question, but also how to repeat the text in a question and also repeat it in their answer so that they know they got it correct. I think this is a missing link for a lot of our students. So who is the story about? You repeat this. The story is about a girl named Mabel. What did Mabel forget at home? Mabel forgot her homework at home. So they're repeating some of that question in their answer. And then they're gonna do that in text. So part of the reason why this binder took me so long is because I wrote all of these stories myself. So there's a lot of information on each one. Here's a level 3 where they have to come up with their own questions about the story and their own answers. All right, so that is asking and answering questions. Here is the compare and contrast section. So like I said, here's the teach, where you're gonna teach them. Here's the oral language component where they are going to have to state the definition. Okay, so that's the asking and answering questions section. Here's the compare and contrast. Again, you have the teach page, you have the oral language page. Here's some compare transitions. So when they see this text, what does that mean? It means the same. Contrast transitions. And then I include some graphic organizers for us to use with some of the text stories that I provide. So here, all they're finding, it's a level 1, they're just circling compare transitions, contrast transitions. Another level 1, they're indicating whether the statement is comparing or contrasting. And then it goes to paragraph for level 2 and level 3. They are having to research and compare and contrast using these topics. All right, main idea and summarizing. This is one of my favorites. So again, a teach page. What is a main idea? What is a summary? And how those relate to each other. Oral language component. Graphic organizers. Here's the main teach page. So what they're going to be doing is step 1, they're going to be finding the text that does not relate up to the main idea. In each paragraph, they're going to cite an important detail, and that in turn is going to give their summary. So we're going to break that down. It's really scaffolding the skills. So here, I'm teaching them the difference between a main idea versus a summary, and they're going to indicate that here, whether it's a main idea, whether it's a summary. Here, I give a book title and they're having to draw a line to the corresponding summary of what they think that book title is talking about. Here I give another book title, but now they're going to predict what the book will be about based on the title. All right, so now we're getting into the meat of teaching how to find a main idea and how to write a summary. And we want them to be able to write really good summaries. So here's what I did. Breaking it down. I gave them a paragraph, and in each paragraph there are some sentences that do not relate back up to the main idea, which is I give them here. So this sentence, wasps are typically yellow and are much larger. That does not really go with the ladybug's main idea. That's their first task. Their second task is I give them important details, but these are all out of order. So they would have to match which one goes to which paragraph. So go here, this one would go here. So now that they're in the right order over here, they just take these important details and write their summary. So they're basically transferring this to here. They're going to do that some more, and then by level 3, they should be able to do the whole thing. So they should be able to find the main idea, the important details in each paragraph, and then write their summary. Sequencing and retelling. So same kind of thing, teach and oral language, transitions, graphic organizers. Here They're just finding the transitions that indicate at the beginning of a story, middle, and end of story. Here they are sequencing. So this is focusing all on sequencing. So drawing a line to first, next, and last. And this is why I love this binder, because I can use this with my entire elementary caseload. Kindergartners should be able to do this. So they're sequencing, and now they're sequencing small paragraphs and indicating which one happens first based on the story. Okay, now we're getting into the more complex component of retelling now. Takes those sequencing components and now you're retelling the story. So here is a good visual for how a story typically goes. And then here's some stories. So first they're going to read the story. Then they're going to indicate the sequence events. They're going to put them in the right order that I gave them. Then they're going to retell them from these sequencing events. So it's going to be a nice summary here. Same thing. So that by level 3, they're going to read the story. They're going to do it themselves now. So exciting. Okay. Word meanings and text. Here's a teach page. And what I did is I used words and I also used figurative language in this section. So the first level, level 1, they're going to read this paragraph. Flower, that's the word, and I highlighted the clues. They're going to circle which definition flower is in this paragraph. Finger licking food, clues, yum. They're going to indicate the correct meaning based on the text. Doesn't mean he ate his fingers. So by level 2, I give them the word and the clue is highlighted, but now they're going to have to write the definition in here. I don't give them choices anymore. So by level 3, I give them the word but no clues. So now they have to find the clues and highlight and write the definition. And then fact and opinion, here we are. And then fact and opinion, here's a teach page, the oral language. Identifying objective versus subjective language. I think this is a really important skill for our students, especially our language impaired students, to be able to identify that. And then here's a nice, I don't know if I can get it, this binder is so big. I probably could have went with a 2-inch binder. This is a 1.5-inch binder. It's a little tight. So here's just a nice chart to determine if something's a fact or an opinion. Has the writer used subjective feeling language? Yes, it's an opinion. No. Is there any evidence? No. Opinion. Yes. Is the evidence reliable or can it be proven? No. Opinion. Yes. Fact. So here they're just identifying that subjective language and objective language. Level 1, they're indicating whether the sentence is a fact or an opinion. 2, I give them a paragraph, and now they have to find and highlight the fact sentences and the opinion sentences. And then here, level 3, I give a statement. Is coffee beneficial to your health? Well, I think so. But they have to look it up on the computer and find what they think their opinion is, and then find some facts to support their opinion. So it really just makes these skills visual, and it makes them progress in difficulty so that you can target your entire caseload and know exactly where they are and what they should be doing for each session. So I just really like it. I know I'm going to get a lot of use out of it with my own caseload. If you have any questions on this, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, NicoleAllison@speechpeeps.com, and I will be glad to answer any of those questions. I hope this helped give some more insight into this binder and why I think it's really effective. Thanks so much for listening.